Tonight, all 3 FIR officers recalled as weather situation expected to worsen. Celebrating Christmas away from home, our peacekeepers maintain festive traditions. And police patrols to maintain peace over the festive season. Very good evening. Not a good start to our Christmas bulletin this evening. The 45-year-old woman who was burnt in a restaurant and bar fire on Monday died at 9:30 a.m. this morning. The woman's 8-year-old daughter is still in hospital but in a stable condition. Meanwhile, the search for her 65-year-old husband continues. And in another incident, a 25-year-old farmer of Natumo village is currently in police custody for allegedly stabbing a 28-year-old man of Waisomo village in Kandavo. The two men are believed to have been drinking together when the incident took place. Investigations continue. In light of recent weather reports indicating a severe low depression, the Republic of Fiji military forces is recalling 3 FIR officers from leave. The RFMF has advised that all those 3 FIR officers on leave are to report to their various base camps at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. This includes the Queen Elizabeth Barracks and the military camp in Lambasa. Military personnel will be briefed on the weather situation and the relevant response processes to be undertaken. Meanwhile, the Weather Office has reported that most parts of the country, especially the Northern Division, are expected to face severe rainfall. Members of the public are urged to monitor weather reports from the media. Meanwhile, it's the first Christmas abroad for some of our soldiers serving in some of the world's worst war-torn countries. Seen here are the UN Guard unit singing carols at a school compound in Iraq on Christmas Eve, a testament of many soldiers serving abroad at this time, taking time out from duty to spread cheer on Christmas Day. These brave men and women brave the cold conditions, singing carols to people living in the Baghdad city area. Since our first tour of duty in 1978, over the years our soldiers have proven their capabilities in peacekeeping operations. And even those who are serving their time in the Fiji Corrections Service facilities took the time out today to celebrate Christmas. Fiji One News visited them early this morning at Korovo. The choir, which included 28 inmates, shared what Christmas means for them, with, of course, carol singing. Later today, the prisoners were treated to a special Christmas lunch, a change from their normal routine. Christmas can be defined in many different ways. For some, it's about family. For others, it's about making new ones. Our news team caught up with a rather special one earlier in the day.
From putting down a lovo or to going to church in the early hours of the morning, today was a time for reflection for many. Some celebrating in a big way.
Bigger event that I'm having this year for Christmas, especially that I am getting so many families here at home and home and abroad as well, yeah.
A few chose to treat our senior citizens.
One day myself would be here because I have no parents. If my kids don't look after me, I will be here. So that's what I feel. I should go and feed these people. Somebody's going to feed me too.
Our senior citizens were treated to something different today. Gracious for the attention.
People always came here with their hearts. They donated something with these people here. I'm just looking for 2 years here. Almost I'm having it. So we're enjoying ourselves with it, with the people, with the staffs. You know.
He gives everything here, food and everything. I'm very happy, glad.
However, some residents feel that more could be done during Christmas.
They should come once in a year or once in a month to look after their parents. You know, in 2 years' time I experienced no children come visit here and look after, to say something with the parents, sit down, have an enjoy with them, talk to them nicely. All of the Fiji, I'm wishing them a good Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
It is a time that is spent with family and friends because where you have found them, you have found your home. Ravaiva for all, Fiji One News.
The biggest church denomination in the country is calling on the citizens of Fiji to restore God's image in their lives this Christmas. Methodist Church of Fiji President Reverend Tuikilakila Wangairatu said people need to critically examine whether they are living up to what God wants to do in their lives. Wangairatu says Christmas is a good time for the church government and the Vanua to come together and practice God's love, faithfulness, forgiveness, reconciliation, justice and peace. Officers from the Fiji Police Force were out in numbers last night as they beefed up operations in the country. Acting Police Commissioner Ravi Narayan led last night's patrol, which continued to the early hours of this morning.
Walking the talk and leading by example, the Acting Police Commissioner took to the street last night meeting members of the community. Fiji One News caught up with Narayan as he accompanied Chief of Operation ASCP Rusia Titunrau conducting foot patrol in the Nisinu area.
It's about usual during our festive season that we conduct operations like this. It's all 20 for the people at the headquarters, senior officers to come on the ground, meet people, at the same time meet the community, ask few questions from the community, how they feel about the police force, how's the area. We just spoke to one of the persons at one of the streets here in Nandera. According to him, he said they feel safe.
It was also an opportunity to find out which areas need more police attention.
And this is one of some of the reasons to come and feel the ground. Also see what the areas that we need to improve on. Is there any logistics further required on the ground? So these are some of my intentions to come on the ground.
The officers determined to ensure a safe Christmas for everyone.
So this is an opportune time for me that come and support our people on the ground and meet them and fulfill our objectives, mission to provide the community a better environment to enjoy this festive season, especially when they are on holidays, children on leave, feel them and thank them for their contribution towards the prevention of crime.
Ndrebukelangi, Fiji One News.
Meanwhile, police officers will still continue to police favoured picnic spots over the holidays. Acting Police Commissioner Ravi Narayan says his officers will be working to ensure everyone enjoys a peaceful Christmas.
Many people will be enjoying Christmas tonight, but for members of the Fiji Police Force, it's work as usual.
You look at the population in a particular area. Are we meeting our needs as per the ratio required to serve the community? So these are some of the issues that we now want to see. That if there's a large member of the community in that feel that the police have a low ratio in terms of policing, then the community has a role to play, recognizing the role and responsibility and how they can contribute to prevention of crime and creating a safe environment.
The Acting Commissioner of Police also reminding everyone that they need the support of the public.
My message to the community generally is that you are the person in charge of your own safety. Every step that you take, you must ensure that you are safe. If you have some issues or think that something might happen to you, quickly take assistance. If officers are not around, then another member of the community or bypasser would help. So these are some of the precautions the community should take.
Police will continue to patrol popular picnic spots.
Generally, as of today, we'll be out again in tomorrow. So once we predict that we maybe the picnic areas and the parks are full, so we move towards where the people are. So now the another area that we think about is to police move with the people where they converge. So majority of people should be there where people are converging. That we call Nisi policing. You police the area where the people are.
Ndrebukelangi, Fiji One News.
And to ensure safety on our roads, last night police and the Land Transport Authority were busy on our roads. Those caught over speeding were stopped by LTA officials, with operations continuing into the early hours of this morning. The usual breathalyzer tests were conducted. Anyone found driving under the influence of alcohol will be taken into custody and await the next available court sitting, which is expected to be on Friday. Police will, over the festive season, maintain a zero tolerance or no drop policy on all drink driving cases. So far, the road death toll stands at 40, 6 of which occurred as a result of drunk driving. People urged to donate blood, especially during the festive season. And tourist numbers expected to increase significantly over the holidays. That's still to come. Hello again. Travel to the outlying islands peaks during the festive season. And as most were putting together their final preparations, others were heading out. Our team caught up with those leaving for the Western Maritime region as the Lautoka Wharf was a hive of activity yesterday.
This is not an unfamiliar sight at the Lautoka Wharf at this time of the holiday season. Villagers making their way back after a year or so of savings and living in urban centres to spend time with their loved ones. For this family all the way from Ovalau in the Lomepiti group, visiting their sowers has been on the cards ever since the beginning of the year.
Christmas has a lot of significance for us all. It can be a time where we reunite as family after a long while to renew relationships, and also a time of spiritual pilgrimage for some.
For this year's Sawa native who hasn't set foot on the island since leaving some 30 years ago, going back to see his parents is something he has been looking forward to since arriving back from abroad some weeks back.
It has always been my aim to head back home this Christmas after being away, serving in the Middle East for quite some time now. So the focus is spending more time with my parents and enjoy village life once again.
So what kind of budget are we looking at when taking a long trip like his, and how well prepared has he been in finally deciding to head back home after a long while?
For me, coming all the way from Suva and to cross by sea to get home, I had to work up a good budget. It's been a while, so I have also did quite some shopping, so it's in the thousands.
For this boat captain, the holidays always bring good fortunes, apart from the Christmas tidings and cheer, as the populace flock the islands in throngs.
This is a time when we, boat owners and qualified captains, rake in good money, as this is when people pay a lot to be taken to their villages. So Christmas is a time where we gain a lot from the arrival of our people all over Fiji and the world.
Madimbole Tamana, Fiji One News.
Christmas is a day for giving and receiving gifts, but for some it is the opportunity to give others a new lease on life. Abisalome Rambo has more.
It's the season for giving, but for the Minister of Health, Christmas is the perfect time for people to donate their blood, as it's usually a time when others need it. Dr. Neil Sharma has for so many years donated blood.
10 years now. 10 years. This is my 51st unit.
The minister says it will be a sad day when blood quantities will have to be sold.
Well, I think it's a philanthropic or altruistic donation. You owe your life to other people. You need to share what you have. And this helps people who are in desperate need. So I think, as adults, we should all give rather than take all the time. So this is something unique.
The minister is encouraging the people to come forward not only to donate blood, but to do something worthwhile for others. And with that spirit, a timely message to the public for the festive season.
Time to sit back and reflect over the years of what you're doing and where you're going with yourself and your family, and to plan ahead and to sort of worship God for all the graces He's given us. So I think everything in moderation is fine. Please do not overindulge in alcohol. So it's a root cause for domestic violence and motor vehicle accidents, and it loads up the hospital and the health system, and becomes a strain when the people get damaged, end up with trauma and disabled for life or even premature death.
Abisalome Rambo, Fiji One News.
The tourism industry is anticipating a good number of visitor arrivals this festive season. With occupancy rates at around 50%, this is expected to increase significantly.
Christmas is traditionally a busy period for the tourism industry. As the whole world, especially our tourism markets, get in the festive mood, an influx of tourists is expected in the coming weeks.
We haven't got any official stats for quite some time, but from what we've been told. I think we were about, I'm told we're about 2% ahead of what we were last year. So again, maybe, hopefully this year we'll be heading for a very good year.
The occupancy rate at the hotels and resorts is also projected to reach 90%.
What is happening now is a shorter booking lead time, so people now are booking much closer. So it's a bit harder for us to predict ahead of time, like exactly what is going to happen into the future.
Despite a slow start this year, the industry has managed to cushion the effects of a natural disaster on our facilities.
Some of the hotels and resorts have been able to mitigate some of this low occupancy by having local functions such as Christmas, New Year functions for their staff, etc. So, it's a welcome thing, when we have these things happening. And also it's a good thing that the locals here also get to see what tourism is involved with.
Australia and New Zealand continue to be the largest markets for the industry. Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
The Public Service Commission has described 2013 as a successful year, largely focused in the area of training and human resource development. Bigger plans are in store for the new year.
2013 was nothing short of a challenge for the Public Service Commission. A review was conducted to ensure ministries operate with proper structure.
We worked very closely with finance in trying to ensure that there is strong linkages between the payroll and the people on the ground in terms of numbers on the ground and what gets paid under the payroll. We did a lot of work in government quotas reform. You can see a lot of changes in government quotas.
The Commission has begun implementing provisions of the 2013 Constitution that are relevant to the public service.
We'll go into the new year trying to build upon what we have achieved and further the vision of government in ensuring that the public of Fiji or ordinary members of the public are served properly, no matter where you are, out there in the islands, out there in the villages or settlements, or out here in the urban areas.
A lot of work in 2014 will be centered on implementing other provisions of the Constitution into the civil service.
We will have a scheme or a framework which will be able to measure the performance of permanent secretaries and see how best we can help them in areas where they need support.
The Commission is also calling on for the civil servants to continue to uphold the ethics and values of the service. Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
A new 2014 decentralization plan is in place for the Ministry of Health. And the country's most populous area, the Suvarnasori corridor, is earmarked for some major developments.
The Ministry of Health has plans in place to ensure people living along the Nasinu corridor access sufficient medical services. For that to materialize, the Ministry knows it will need to extend the operative arm of its medical practitioners.
So there is a maternity unit going to be built in Makoi on the premises of the Makoi Health Centre.
The new medical facility will also play a dual role, also serving as a teaching ground for midwives.
And at the same time handle low-risk patients in the Suvarnasori corridor, where close to a third of our population now resides.
Further down the road in Nausori, changes are also planned. The population demand warrants a timely assistance from government.
Relocating the Nausori Health Centre to Vunivivi Hill, a approximately 80-bed hospital is to be developed there.
Apisalome Rambo, Fiji One News.
There has been a decline in the number of cases filed against real estate agents this year. The Real Estate Agents Licensing Board has received close to 20 complaints pertaining to how business is generally conducted.
The Real Estate Agents Licensing Board received only 2 complaints in the last quarter. This speaks volumes of the awareness that has been carried out.
One of the common complaints we received in past years was like real estate agents using the deposits, or the code of conduct by real estate agents not practicing professionally, not showing their own houses, and not applying the contract.
Dealing with illegal agents has been a major challenge during recent years, but even this problem has declined.
In past, like before Real Estate Agents Act came in place, there was a lot of real estate agents who were acting unprofessionally and using clients' money and running away with clients' money. What had happened after the licensing of real estate agents, all those things has been minimized, like especially when we are issuing the licensed real estate card to the real estate agents, and people are now aware that they have to check the license card.
Murthy says the board will not hesitate revoking licenses if the offences committed by the agents are serious.
In 2012, we have revoked 27 licenses of real estate agents, and fortunately this year we did not even terminate any real estate agent's license. So it shows the level of professionalism and the conduct have been improved from the real estate agents this year.
There are 89 licensed real estate agents and 113 licensed salespersons in the country. Halith Eshtat, Fiji One News.
All medical and dental practitioners must undergo continued professional development training. The Fiji Medical and Dental Council says this is a mandatory requirement for any practitioner wanting to operate in the country.
It is essentially crucial in any profession to be updated with latest relevant developments, and medical and dental profession is no exception. No medical and dental practitioner will be issued with a practicing license unless they complete their required continued professional development.
For the last 2 years, the practitioners were told there is a certain requirement. For all the medical practitioners, they must have 25 hours of learning relevant to their profession. Similarly, with dental practitioners, around 14 to 20 hours of learning per year. So this year, when they did apply for the practice license, there's this extra bit of check where the Secretariat had to go over the application forms to ensure that they have met the criteria.
Those that have failed to comply have been given time to do so. They are, however, referred to the Professional Standards Committee.
What the Professional Standards Committee has done, they've asked them to undertake, this year that they'll do some extra hours. So that has been, the absence hasn't been quite negligible.
With only a handful number of complaints received, 2013 has been a successful year for the Council.
In the terms of constraints that we have, the law only limited the councils to have few number of investigators. So what the councils have come up with, trying to tackle this problem for at least 2 years now, they have delegated the power to the Professional Conduct Committee, where they can have other specialists who can act as investigators.
Halith Eshtat, Fiji One News.
Our Pacific News segment is up next. Stay with us. Papua New Guinea is deepening its engagement within APEC to strengthen its trade and investment linkages with larger members. Prime Minister O'Neill says their focus is to continue to increase trading opportunities for the country's expanding export-focused oil and gas, mining, agriculture, fisheries and forestry sectors. He says being a member of the APEC community gives a lot of opportunities for Papua New Guinea to link the Pacific into many of the established economies around the world. Papua New Guinea, whose top 10 trading partners last year included 9 APEC economies led by Australia, Japan, China, Singapore, Malaysia and the United States, projects some 6.2% growth in 2014. And remember, you can view tonight's Fiji One News Bulletin on our website. That's at www.fijione.tv. You can also watch previous news bulletins as well as our current affairs, business and sports shows. And Myron is next with sport. Merry Christmas, by the way. Great news with speedy recovery from top sports administrator.
That's right, Billy. Merry Christmas to you too. And yes, Alini Sovu has been recovering well since the Pacific Mini Games. That's coming up. Also in sport, Sevens captain excuses himself for Christmas feast. And volleyball first ever Battle of the Powerhouse competition formed.